Goliath must fall, and you're David. I think when I hear that, it opens up and it makes me understand a lot about myself, my destiny, my goals, and what I am to do in this world. People like to wonder, what am I supposed to do? Find the biggest boulder you can carry and carry that. But I think the concept of Goliath must fall and you're David, it also gives you the responsibility that this is something you have to do. Because if not, there's other consequences that fall besides just yourself, besides just your family, maybe your community, your whole culture, your whole religion. And we all have even just a little part to play in the making of the whole. And I think when we look at everything, we have to see, okay, I'm a part of that. And when you think of the concept of Goliath must fall and you're David, you also have to realize to be David, you have to be a little bit of Goliath also, you know? And I think there's two versions of Goliath that you have to deal with. The first one is within yourself, having that initial belief that I can beat this. It's also believing that or it's not believing, it's more so understanding that you have this darkness, or like, was it Carl Jung like to say, the shadow or the ego, like Nietzsche like to say. These different people have different concepts of it, but it's basically, you have this monster in you, and in order to fight monsters, you have to be a bit of a monster. You know, I think it's why people like Batman, you know, because he's a monster, but he's a control monster. He's a monster who do the right things, who can be evil and chooses not to. I find it interesting how young people, little kids, they go from wanting to be Superman, and the older you get up, the older you grow up, the more you hear people want to be Batman. I think it's because the older you become, the older you get, the more you realize there's a darkness in the world. And it's not all the time that you need sunshine to be the darkness. Sometimes you have to thrive in the darkness. And what lurks in the darkness are monsters. And in order to, beat the monsters, you have to become a bit of a monster. And it's like, it's like fighting, or it's like war, if it's like sports, I want to beat the other person. In order to beat the other person, you gotta be a bit of, bit of a dog. And I think it's embracing that part of you that leads you to beat the other Goliath. And that's the bigger Goliath. That's that thing you're meant to change, that aspect of yourself that you're supposed to, show to the world. I think a lot of times we get lost in that. I was listening to this audiobook on an alchemist, and this guy was saying how the soul of the world, or your heart, keeps trying to tell you what your mission is. But eventually your heart stops because it realizes it's just causing you pain and you aren't listening to it. And so it stops telling you the thing that you're supposed to do. And you wonder, oh, I'll never achieve this, I never achieved that. But you are David, You are the person looking up going, how am I supposed to climb Mount Everest? How am I supposed to beat Goliath? How am I supposed to take my family out of this situation and put them in that situation? How am I supposed to support my family? How am I supposed to start a family? I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. But the trick, I think, is to just start doing something really small. If you wanna clean up your room, just look at the broom, Like, I didn't say touch the broom, I didn't say pick it up, just look at it. Like, scale that problem, scale that dragon, that monster down. And it's just like, okay, look at it. Open your drawer, get out of bed. Get out of bed. If you can get out of bed, we're step one. You're at least on the floor on 2 feet. Now what? And I think once you scale that Goliath down, you realize I don't have to necessarily beat Goliath like David did with a slingshot and a rock and everything. Maybe you just take the journey to the battlefield. take that first step to the battlefield. And that's the first step in beating Goliath. That's the Goliath in yourself, and that's the Goliath in the world. It's taking that first step to the battlefield. It's just picking up the sword and shield. It's just putting the water in your backpack, and then putting the books, and then putting that. And I also found that along the way, life put things in place to help you beat Goliath. You know, and so you realize in the beginning when you had none of these skills before, now once you've gotten to the battlefield, along the way, you've met people, you've trained, you've learned things, you've experienced stuff. So by the end of the day, when you're actually at the battlefield, face to face with Goliath, it's not that big of a monster anymore. Goliath is average size, average build. He isn't this big, huge, 9 feet tall, buff looking dude. He's the average guy. But the thing that I love about life is Goliath never ceases to exist. You just find a different version of Goliath. You know, one Goliath with short hair, long hair. But you get to experience different versions of a Goliath that test different parts of your character, you know? And that's what makes life interesting. Because, okay, you get physically fit, life is good. Now it's like, all right, let's try this mental Goliath. Let's try this emotional Goliath. Let's try this physical, this spiritual, emotional, like, there's these different versions, and at each level, and each of those parameters, there's like so much more you can learn. And then there's the things you don't know, you know? That's what makes it interesting. You get to share that with people also. So you surround yourself with people who are also fighting Goliaths. You know, I think the downside to society today is you have very few people who are taking that journey to the battlefield, actually fighting Goliath, and actually have people they could share it with. A lot of people are just on the sidelines telling you, no, stay home, no, you don't need to fight Goliath. Somebody else would do it. If not me, who? If not now, when? And a lot of people would rather tell you not to fight Goliath because they don't have the courage to. You know? There's a reason I was listening to The Best Friend Who Don't Know Me, Jordan Peterson, and he said the reason people don't go on the journey of spiritual enlightenment is because it leads all the way down to hell. And you realize that, oh no, I'm not that good of a person as I thought I was. I have all of these flaws, snakes, monsters within me. And if life was all about following your bliss and following and doing anything that made you happy and hedonistic pleasure, we'd all be paragons of truth, paragons of happiness. But it's not. Life is about getting kicked down and finding a way to get back up, learning the lesson and helping somebody else not have to get kicked down as bad. And I think in my recent experiences, it's a lot harder to get up after being kicked down when the easy thing to do is just kick somebody else down. And fair on you, you know, like, it's hard to go, this is life, I have to keep moving. And not going, this is life, but it's your fault and I'm gonna make you suffer for it. And it took me a few days to get over that. You know, it took me a few days to realize that, you know, life happens to us all. And if we were all out for revenge, I'm sure there's somebody who got my neck, who got my name on a list somewhere. But that's not what it's about. And I think that's another Goliath. And I'm David. And I think at an individual level, recognizing that you are David, everybody is David. You know? They have this, I was talking I think I mentioned this before, but this concept of Neo. You know, everybody's looking, where's Neo? Where's Neo? You're Neo. You're Neo. And the infinite mirror thing you got where you like one mirror on this side, one mirror on that side, and like infinite mirrors. You realize that it's you, it's just you. But at the individual level, it's everyone. You know, I think if you have a colony of ants and every ant is like, who's gonna do this? You are. And you realize the colony of ants, they work so well together because everybody understands that together is how you win. And together we all have a little piece of the puzzle. And I think it's sad to see, and I'm victim to this also. I'm not a victim, but I'm guilty of this also. Where you look at these type of people and you go, oh yeah, they're crazy, oh yeah, I want to be associated with them. It's like, man, y'all stuck in this place together. Might as well figure out how to cohesively work together, live, cooperate, whatever, without being at each other's necks all the time. I think we got the Willie Lynch thing going on. We got young people versus old people, light skins versus dark skins, men versus women, kids versus other kids, black versus white, Indian versus Sudanese. Like, it's all fighting each other. And we shouldn't. But I think that's the global Goliath that we all have to realize, hold on, that's not what we need to be doing. But back at an individual level, I think my life took a drastic turn for the better of my mental health, my spiritual health, my emotional health also. I would say my physical health too. I would say that. When I accepted that, okay, life has monsters. You're a monster too. But what kind of monster do you want to be, you know? I think we're all monsters. We're all, it's a Christian thing, but I'll say it anyway. I think we're all sinners. But it's what you do after. It's what you do now. And I think when you see a big beast and you also realize you have the potential to be the big beast, it gives you a little bit more respect for yourself because you think, wow, I am capable of a lot. And I am someone that should be feared. But my goal isn't to be feared. But it gives you some self-respect to go, I should treat myself better. Maybe I should demand that others treat me with more respect also. Because I am a monster. I'm a control monster. I am Goliath. I am the one you should be trembling in your boots when you see. But I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you. And I think we'd all be scared of Superman if he was evil. But Superman and General Zod, two comic book characters, same powers, one is evil, one is good. Everybody loves Superman. Everybody is scared of General Zod because it's what Superman brings and what he brings. Hope, fear. Be the person with immense power, the big dog who sharp teeth, big claws, still hug you. You know? Be the person that's big and strong and everybody thinking, oh man, this guy's so scary, who just lights up a room when you smile. Be the person when people don't know what you're thinking, you speak, and it all makes sense. Be that person. Remember that Goliath must fall, and you're David. Beat the Goliath in yourself, and you can beat any Goliath in life. Have a y'all blessed day.